Look, I'm no, I should say, super special influencer or anything. I'm just a guy, right? But this guy, after paying attention for a long time, kind of understands what the hell is really going on. And I'll tell you this. Basically, what's going on is that these guys do this. These elite upper class people who appear to be above the Rothschild are fucking with us, right? Well, even them is what they do. They are probably behind a whole bunch of stuff, including things related to Israel, things related to our Federal Reserve, right? They got a hand in all that, right? And at the end of the day, look, everything's a lie. This is all bullshit, okay? So a lot of people want to learn, want to figure it out, what's really going on, right? Some people don't give a shit, right? And either way you choose, ain't no judgment. Who cares? A lot of people lately, they are caring when a lot of things happen. 9/11 happened. People started to go, what the hell? You know, uh, COVID happened. Now people are really going, wow. Even the kids, that's exciting. The kids are learning a lot of stuff I didn't know. Shit, I couldn't imagine knowing some of the stuff at 25 that they gotta deal with. Like 25, damn, ain't no shit, really. But so that's a great thing. We're all learning. Okay, we're all learning what this is really about, the depth of the lies. That's awesome. Look, if there was an actual real government here to so-called take care of us, okay, if this thing we call democracy was supposed to be about us, it wouldn't look like this. The whole thing's a scam, 100%, because it's paid for. Your government is bought and paid for by the same people it's always been for the past several thousand years, by the banks. Even in Game of Thrones, they Game of Thrones is a trip because they depict a lot of these elements in a lot of these movies, and everybody knows about the Matrix, right? Well, there's a certain amount of like wisdom, right, that the people are going to need to get into real quick, okay, if we want to make this work out for us. And that wisdom is there, right? If this was more of a natural situation, you'd have something more akin to maybe older wise people sitting on councils or something like that. But that's not what this is in any way, stretch, or form. This is just a system to suck our energy, keep us stupid, keep us divided, and that's a choice for us, right? That's what the Matrix is about. Red pill, blue pill. Blue pill meaning, hey, just, keep me on the wheel, keep sucking my energy, keep me stupid, and make sure every week I know who I'm supposed to hate. Right? That's what the Matrix does to you. And it's a choice. Each are difficult. Not one better or worse than the other. Sometimes it can feel like it because people in the Matrix, it looks like they're stupid, but, you gotta really, really appreciate the power of the Matrix. you know, it's that deceptive thing. It looks evil, right? Because it's very, very deceptive. Deceptive in how you see you, yourself, really. People don't know what they are. Not really. And believe me, people, they do know. They have a very good grip on what the hell is actually going on. And the essence of what they know and what you don't know is that you are an extremely powerful energy source, right? You don't even know. And they know. They know. And that's like, to me, what I call like one of the top three big secrets, okay, is how powerful we all are as individuals. We don't even love ourselves. Come on, let's face it. Let alone, you know, through fear, they've convinced us to hate our neighbors, which is just really sad. You look at that, and you're like, wow, that is a very vulnerable population. if the population can get into this turmoil and start hating each other, and it's just a vulnerable population because you should see that stuff coming a mile away. And a lot of people do see it coming a mile away. You try to tell your friends, hey, these motherfuckers are fucking with us. Well, that's the essence of, or the framework. You can argue a whole bunch of different ways. You can fit a whole bunch of things into that. But at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about us choosing to give away our power. All right. These people understand how this works, and if you're curious, you want to look something up, right? I think one of the Hermetics, okay, natural law. It's kind of deep, right? To really understand it, you gotta also understand yourself, right? A lot of things don't make sense unless you start to look within. Once you start to look hard within, then a lot of these things make sense. I kind of look at how they do the Zohar. So if you don't know, and I don't know all the proper terms, but I think it's like in the rabbinical sphere of, you know, real, I should say, people who practice Judaism. What they do is they know that they can't handle Zohar until they get a little older, right? Because it's when you get older that you usually start to look within. Anyhow, my point is that there's a lot of this stuff that's real, okay? It's not about religions. That's where they got people, right? What better way is there to divide than religion? Come on. Anyhow, I'm sorry. Look, if you are religious, I get it. I have a disdain for religion. Here's why. Because now you call yourself a thing, right? This is me. I have this identity. I'm a follower of Christ. Okay. Well, what you've just done is you've just divided yourself from people who aren't followers. Well, no, I haven't. Yes, you have. And whether you do something about it or not, somebody else is going to. Somebody else is going to tell the people who don't follow Jesus Christ that the people who do are bad people. I mean, it's like you're inviting and you're opening in the evil guys. Look, let's talk about these evil guys too, because some people see it and some people don't. Some people don't want to know. Most people don't want to know anything about this. Doesn't make them stupid. It's just that they chose to. In trying to convince people who don't want to, you can't do that. I know a lot of my friends get so upset about like these arguments against, the so-called liberals, right? Because, me and my buddy, we were the normal liberals at one point. Now, all of a sudden, we're hanging out with the conservatives. You know what? Okay, because I'm not about identity. I'm about who's making the most sense at that current time. It seemed to me back in the 90s, the Democrats were making the most sense at the same time. And just to add on to that, looking back at some stuff, yeah, Trump seems to be a 90s Democrat. People don't realize that because that was a long time ago and people really don't pay attention. And that's what everybody's got to realize. I can't believe how many people have such strong opinions on some things and they don't know anything. Like they don't know. What they don't know, they don't know anything. And then you ask them questions and they have no idea. Right? Like what? I mean, there's a billion things. I mean, I could just list off a million things that are true. You can go look them up, find out yourself. All right, start. Let me challenge myself. All right. Number one, the King of England is related to Count Dracula by blood. Mm-hmm. You know that, did you? All right, here's another one. The government knows full well that psychic stuff is real and they actually have programs to benefit from. much for it. Government knows that stuff. And that goes deep. That's what that movie Stranger Things was about. Oh, that series. And if you look at that series, they flash a paper, which is, in fact, a declassified MK Ultra document. But it goes deeper than that. It goes really deep. Look, this thing with Jeffrey Epstein, guys, people do not know. People don't realize. People don't realize how deep this is. This is so deep, you have no idea. You have no idea. Most people don't. There's a whole bunch that do. Whole lot of people that know this. Who thinks that? Alright, here we go. Michael Salla, Stephen Greer, Carrie Cassidy, John Lear. Yeah, but he's dead. I could write probably a list, and maybe I should do that for you folks. I could probably list 20, Gary McKinnon. That's really important. And yeah, a lot of stuff that people aren't aware of that is absolutely true. They don't want to extradite Gary McKinnon because they don't want to cause, they don't want any attention on the fact that what he found is real. Now, hey, I take all this one step and say, look, what if all this stuff is fake? What if all these guys just got together and made up a big story to tell people? That could be true too. I'm just not seeing it. It's too random. I mean, you have to be real good, and maybe they are that good at convincing that many people to go along with this general thing. And maybe even when the people within the thing disagree, maybe that's just a ruse too. Yeah, that seems just a lot less likely. So, it's just a numbers game right there. It's like, yeah, that's too much. That's too much work. For what? We're pretty easy to fool, so it don't take a lot. So at the end of the day, I'll lead the revolution. I'm calling myself the leader. I'm the leader of the revolution, okay? Because I know how to do this. I just feel like I got what it takes to make it happen, okay? Primarily because I think I'm what they call an autodidact. I think that's my superpower. I've learned a whole bunch of shit about a whole bunch of stuff. And I can kind of see the bigger board, right? There's, what the people think is real, Republicans and Democrats, but there's a whole thing behind that. And I said Michael Salla earlier. I don't know if he coined the term exopolitics or not, but that's something that's gonna start to be something that we gotta look at. I watch some of these TV shows, and the latest ones I'm watching is something that a friend of mine told me about. And it's called Nine Perfect Strangers. So I looked it up. Okay, what's this about? And it looked pretty good. It's about mushrooms. She told me it was going to be about mushrooms because anyhow, so mushrooms and Nine Perfect Strangers. And I'm like, wow. And when the character that's played by Kim, I don't know what's her name. When her character came out, man, I don't know. A lot of people who know about the UFO stuff, right, know about Billy Meyer. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I thought it was Simyasi. And then, actually, I started to realize how Pleiadian her character is. This is like, UFO stuff. A lot of people don't know about Pleiadians or all that stuff, right? But that to me is so clear of a depiction of one of these Pleiadian people. I don't know how I feel about these so-called Pleiadian people. I just don't know. The CIA is very, very clever. They are very, very clever. The mind control stuff is way more than people have any idea of how big it is. So I don't know all about I don't know all of their methods, but I gotta take a look and see, which one of these avenues they're going down. I don't know. I would definitely say a couple things for sure. For sure, for sure, for sure. Look, there's a lot of powers going on in this world right now. You know, it's the Fourth Reich motherfuckers that got bases on Mars and Moon and stuff. And you got these Jesuits. They represent that trillionaire money. Yeah, higher than the Rothschilds. That's Jesuits Club of Rome. Then you got the Zionists. They got a lot of power too. They got us by the balls. They got the United States by the balls for sure. You know, these are three of the big powers, and they all agree. Oh yeah, in terms of fucking with us to generate the energy that they need for their magic, for their alchemy. Oh, absolutely. They seem to be on board with that. I mean, why wouldn't you be? And it sounds like they're being mean, to be honest with you. You know, me, I think a little bit. I do think like they do. I understand what they're doing. What they're doing is what they have to do. Evil has to be represented. You can choose either path. It don't matter, right? Natural law don't care as long as you abide by basic rules. Okay. One of them is, okay, hey, I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna fuck you over, and I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna fuck you over. And if you agree to me continuing to fuck you over, well, then really you deserve to be fucked over because nobody told you to let me fuck you over. And that is exactly how they think. And they're right. Oh, that sounds so mean. Look, the universe doesn't have empathy. Okay? Oh, poor baby, we won't, it doesn't work like that. It either is or it isn't. It doesn't care how you feel. Right? It doesn't care that you didn't take the time to go find out, seek knowledge. If you don't seek knowledge, that's on you. You don't know stuff. Natural law doesn't care. It holds you accountable every step of the way. Now, are you making choices out of love? Are you making choices out of fear? You can ask yourself this: am I afraid, or is this because I love something? Is it because I love myself? By the way, I bring this up all the time. Put my Amazon link in the description. But this book, swear to God, okay, I heard about it before it came to me. I heard about it. I heard a lot of good things about it that it changed people's lives and stuff. And then, to me, a little bit, this is kind of like a little bit of the Zohar, honestly, because I would not have been ready for this book at a certain earlier age. Last time I'll do. I'm gonna read that. Random ass paragraph. A similarly dramatic turning point came in the therapy of a young woman I will call Helen, who had been seeing twice. Oh, by the way, the guy that wrote this, he's a therapist, so this is him. I'll call Helen. I've been seeing twice weekly for 9 months with a noticeable lack of success, and for whom I did not yet have much positive feeling. Indeed, after all that time, I didn't even have much of a feeling of who Helen was at all. I had never seen a patient for such a length of time without having gained some idea of who the individual was and the nature of the problem to be resolved. I was totally confused by her and had spent the better part of several nights attempting without any success whatsoever to make some sense out of the cause. About all that was clear to me was that Helen did not trust me. She was vociferous in her complaints that I did not genuinely care for her in any way, shape, or form, and was interested in only her money. She was talking in this fashion during one session after 9 months of therapy. You cannot imagine, Dr. Peck, how frustrating it is for me to attempt to communicate with you when you are so uninterested in me and therefore so oblivious to my feelings. Helen, I replied, it seemed to be frustrating for both of us. I don't know how this will make you feel, but you are the single most frustrating case I have ever had in a decade of practicing psychotherapy. I have never met anyone which whom I have made less headway in so long a time. Perhaps you're right in believing that I am not the right person to work with you. I don't know. I don't want to give up, but sure as hell I am puzzled about you, and I wonder until I'm almost crazy as to what the hell is wrong in our work together. Random ass paragraph. Alright, guys. I'm out. I'm going to try to do this more and more, but at the end of the day, look, my message is this. We have to have unity. And I'm going to pick. You know what I'm going to do? That's what I'm going to do. You know what? I'm going to play the. It just came into me. It just came to me. Wow. Okay, look, I don't think I'm Jesus or nothing like that. But you know what? I think I'm going to play the role. I mean, why not? I'll play the role and make sure I understand. People understand I'm playing the role. I know, Jesus, I'll play the role. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. I'm going to pick 12 people, right? Influencers. And, like I said, ain't nobody, but I'm still going to pick 12 influencers. This is a fucking good idea, right? It's going to be a range of influencers. And the job of these influencers is to form a committee on how we're going to extend love to the liberals. Yeah, it's the best idea. Look, I know everybody talks shit and pisses me off. I'm tired of hearing people talk shit. Like, oh my God. And I'm kind of talking about like religious stuff or even that spiritual whatever, okay? This whole thing called love is extremely powerful, and we have it right here, okay? The bad guys are on the march. No question. We have what we need. We have everything we need to deal with this. And it'd be a shame we didn't step up to the plate and get it done. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. This is an easy sell, guys. This is going to be fun. So I'm going to pick 12 influencers. I don't care. You know what? Fucking million influencers. I don't give a fuck. But, I'm not, I got shit to do. I'm trying to make some money right now. I got jobs, I'm paying out rent stuff. I ain't got time for all that. So I'm picking you 12 to get together and figure out how to make it happen. Make what happen? Make anybody who's not liberal, like, because these liberals, you know what I'm talking about. Any of y'all. Me, I'm in the middle, right? But maybe you got somebody way on the right. All of us. We have to get together, okay? Right now. You understand me? And make sure we tell our liberal neighbors that we love them. Why is this so important? Do I have to explain? Okay, I don't care. That's fine. Because this is unity. We're all being fucked over by the same people. They like this division. They got stuff to do, so they need us to be divided. So we're paying attention to something else instead of how they fucking put in all the surveillance state stuff in after the crash, the Great Reset. This is what the focus is. People don't know. A lot of people do. A lot of people do. But, news media ain't going to talk about it because they don't want you to talk about it. They just want you fighting over immigrants. Okay? It's like, and if you fall for that, that's your choice. Let's just put it that way. So my point is, the ultimate goal is we all have to make a big, big deal about letting them know we love them, or else we lose. You can try to do this through elections and shit like this, but come on, guys. This revolution has to start where the so-called liberals and the Democrats have to extend, what do they call it, a fig leaf to each other. Have to. You guys have to do this. I mean, I'm sorry, but a lot of you are acting like children. It's conservatives, you got this, you want to like drown in liberal tears. Why you want your neighbor to be sad? That ain't right. You know, this is why I say some people talk shit, you know, because they say like God and Jesus Christ, and then be saying stuff like literal tears, when clearly the Jesus guy would want you to love your neighbor. So it doesn't make sense, you know. I mean, I can say I got criticism for everybody, but what the real criticism is not the minutia and the detail of what they're telling you to argue about. What it is you guys got to stop letting these people fuck with you. Because to be honest, it don't make you look good. Mm-mm. You look like chumps, honestly. You look like chumps. If you are not committed to uniting with your neighbor, then you are not doing any of the things that any person of any spiritual understanding, or even honestly, physicist stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of physicists that are aware and have contemplated on models to explain the different stuff. I don't know their names off the top of my head, but they're out there. You can find them. Really interesting stuff. It's really interesting to see, you know, the math and sciences and the spiritual is kind of coming together to see how it all fits. That is really cool. All right, so you get my point. You guys gotta express love, or this isn't gonna work out. Let's stop talking shit and do what we know is true.